High ice. Background. Up until 13,000 years ago, advanced civilizations existed all over the world. That is speculation. Starting about 13,000 years ago, large asteroids struck the Earth on what is now North America. It burned the forests, killed the large animals, and melted the glaciers. When the glaciers melted, sea level rose 400 feet. That is fact. Logline. A man tries to warn people of an impending disaster. When that fails, he creates a haven where a group of people can survive when the sudden end of an ice age causes civilization to collapse. On a moonlit night, a cabin sits near the base of a 2-mile-high wall of ice. The following day, we see Rob Mooney, 42, working in his garden. He wears a fur cap, a wool shirt with a check pattern, jeans, and heavy boots caked with mud. He pulls a few weeds, inspects some plants for insects, and ties up a wayward vine. He goes to the pig pen and slops the hogs. He checks the connections on his satellite tower and then goes into his cabin. Inside the cabin, we see a wood stove in the kitchen and a hand pump by the sink. There's a gun rack with guns of various types. He gets to his office area and sits down in the ergonomic chair. There are 2 large screens mounted on the wall. He picks up his phone and selects a number. Celia Baker, 37, is walking to the glacier research lab she runs. She reaches into the pocket of her gray parka for her phone. She has blonde hair, pale skin, and blue eyes. "Coming over for dinner tonight?" Rob asks. "Sure, what time?" "6:30 should work for me." "See you then." Celia goes into the lab, closing the door firmly behind her. She walks down a corridor of shelves loaded with ice cores. Do we just have a relationship of convenience? Does he want me for more than sex? What if there were other women nearby? Later, Rob and Celia finish dinner and share a joint while sipping wine. "I got an email from my mom today," Rob says. "How's she doing?" "Fine. It was Mother's Day, and she visited my sister and her kids." "Sounds like a nice day," she says. "I'm sure it was, but as usual, she complains about me being so far away. And why don't I have a wife and kids?" "Mothers do that. Mine does." "What's your answer?" he asks. "I will when I'm ready." "Do you feel your clock ticking?" "Some days." "Ready for bed?" "I just need to brush my teeth." In the darkened bedroom, the blankets rise and fall from the movements of people making love. At around 3 a.m., Rob wakes with a start from deep sleep, his eyes wide open. In the morning, Rob and Celia make breakfast and sit down to eat. "I had a dream last night. It woke me up. I had a hard time going back to sleep," he says. "What about?" "Something came from space and caused a lot of water to run off the glacier. And it was just so vivid I can't shake it." "I have dreams like that," she says. "Nothing ever comes of them." Celia digs into her breakfast. "Sometimes when we're having sex, I think about the horse I had when I was a teenager," she says. I had my first orgasm riding a horse." "How old were you?" Why is she telling me this? 13. I didn't know what it was, just that it felt good. After that, I rode my horse every day. After breakfast, Celia leaves for the lab and Rob sits at his computer drinking coffee. He types in flood myths as a search term and presses enter. He gets 38 million hits. Wow! He reads articles. Later, he types in proof of flooding myths and gets over 7 million hits. He prints out some articles. Rob's friend Terry comes in on his gravity sled during the day. That evening, they sit by a campfire watching the stars. Rob offers Terry a taste of a mushroom potion. "Where did you get that stuff?" Terry asks. "From a shaman I know," Rob says. "Are you sure it's safe?" "Pretty much." "What do you mean, pretty much?" "You may get sick for a while, but it won't kill you." "And this is supposed to be fun?" Terry asks. "It's not about fun, though it can be. It's about knowing. Take a sip." Terry sips and makes a face. Rob sips and passes the cup back to Terry. They continue until the cup is empty. "How long does this take?" "About a half hour. Be quiet, I'll drum." Rob taps a frame drum at a quick rhythm. A half hour later. "Oh God," Terry says, "I am so sick." "Just let it come up. You'll feel better." Terry stumbles away from the fire and throws up. When he comes back, he says, "This better be worth it." "Trust me, it will be," Rob says. Rob walks away and throws up. He comes back and continues to drum. I'm seeing things, Terry says. Good, that means it's working. What are you seeing? All kinds of crazy things. It'll get more organized. Try to think about my dream. Terry falls silent while Rob continues to drum. I'm seeing something, Terry says. What? It's from a long time ago, another time when there was a lot of ice. Can you be more specific, Rob asks. Something came from the sky. It didn't take long. What? The melting. A few days later, Rob and Celia are at Rob's cabin reading about catastrophic melting of glaciers. Look at this, Celia says. What? Rob scoots his chair to be closer to Celia. According to this, she says, the world has 52 million cubic kilometers of ice in the glaciers. So, what does that mean? It means that if all of it melted, sea levels would rise over 400 feet. All the cities on the coast would have to move back if they had time. What do you mean by if they had time? Rob asks. There is evidence that in the past some ice ages ended rapidly, so sea levels would also rise rapidly. Coastal cities would drown, and people would lose everything that civilization provides. What could cause that? If the glaciers got hit by asteroids, the heat from the explosion would cause rapid melting. Terry and I both saw something that happened quickly. In his garden, Rob harvests greens. He hears the trumpeting of a bull mammoth and then sees the mammoth appear at the edge of the forest. The bull flares his ears and moves toward the homestead. Rob shouts and waves his arms. The bull keeps coming. Rob runs into the cabin and grabs the 610 rifle. He breaks it open, loads it, and jams 2 more cartridges between the fingers of his left hand. He runs out the door. He makes one last attempt to scare the mammoth off, shouting, jumping, and waving his arms. The mammoth charges him. He shoulders the rifle and puts 2 shots into the forehead of the mammoth. He breaks the rifle open and pops the other 2 cartridges into the chambers. He raises the gun to shoot again, but the mammoth is on its knees, dying. Later, he cuts the head of the mammoth off with a chainsaw and drives pegs into the side of the head. He hooks a line from his gravity sled to the pegs. He lifts off in the gravity sled, pulling the mammoth head up. He settles the head on a post at the edge of his clearing. Maybe the others will take the hint. That evening, Rob calls his mom and tells her about his dream. That's the craziest idea you've ever come up with, she says. The glaciers have been here for thousands of years. But there is evidence of ice ages coming to a sudden end, Rob says. I'm too old to worry about things that happened a million years ago. She hangs up. If you don't worry, it may be too late. Late the next afternoon, Rob and Celia pick vegetables for the evening meal. You seem sure of yourself, Celia says, but you don't have any actual proof. Does that mean I'm wrong? No, but it means most people will think you're a fool. Do you think I'm a fool? Rob asks. You've seen how much water is accumulating on top of the glacier. It's not enough. People will just say that's normal for this time of year. Do we always have glaciers? No, they come and go. Do you have any idea why? It's not part of my job, Celia says. I'm just here to collect samples, not to speculate on the fate of the glacier. Geez, I got so tired of hearing people say that when I had a company. What do you expect me to do? Can you at least look into it? That evening, Celia does research in Rob's office, printing out documents and making notes. Have you heard of the Milankovitch cycles? She asks. No. It's about changes in the Earth's position over time. There are several parts to it, but 2 of them seem to have the most effect. The first is that the Earth's orbit varies from circular to elliptical. When it is elliptical, the seasons are more extreme. Where are we in this cycle? We're in the elliptical phase, so the summers are warmer and the ice melts faster. The second part is the tilt of the axis of the Earth. When the axis tilts more toward the sun, the summers in the northern hemisphere get longer and more ice melts. And we're entering the warm time? Yes, the last thing I've found is going to seem a little crazy. What is it? Rob asks. Some causes of climate change are not cyclical, and they can be very strong. Such as? Space isn't empty, she says. It's filled with plasma. As our solar system moves through the galaxy, the plasma density varies. Our weather is cooler when we're in an area where the plasma is thin. And We're entering a region of high plasma density. Our weather will be warmer. And that will contribute to more melting? Probably.